So here's the Colt Python. I'm going to show it's clear. So for the Colt Python, there's only one main way to decock it. You can decock it by first pulling the hammer down and then pulling the trigger. Now for this first one, you can let go of the trigger. For the second version of it, you can hold the trigger until it reaches the destination. But it doesn't really matter for a Colt Python because it doesn't have an exposed firing pin like on a Smith & Wesson, for example. For this first demonstration, you'll see that my thumb unfortunately slips. That's because I'm using gloves, and the gloves are mainly so that you can see things easier. They're not supposed to be for anything fancy. So this one might be hard to see, but just bear with me. You can see that when I let go of the trigger, the firing pin does not protrude out on the opposite side, versus holding the trigger, you can see the firing pin is protruding out on the other side. So this is what I was trying to show with the Smith & Wesson. Just thought to explain that, since it might look a little weird for the Webley at first. So just a heads up, if you haven't already noticed, all these firearms are completely cleared. But for these type of firearms like the Tokarev, or like a Colt 1911, or even the Star BM, these single action handguns, meaning you have to pull the hammer down and cock it and fire it, and even if there is a round in the chamber, you have to pull the hammer down. You can't just pull the trigger, it's not double action. These single action ones, they have a half cock mode for the hammers, and you'll see that with the Tokarev. This Tokarev does have a safety on it, but normally they don't have safeties on them, and they would use the half cock mode for the hammer to use it as their safety. So here's the CZ83. This one is a double action single action pistol, so it's both. And this one, when it comes to decocking it, there's no half cock like on the single action automatic handguns. So I just thought to point that out, and you'll notice that while you're watching this, it's either down or up, that's it. Some of these double action and double action single action handguns have decockers. Mine's does not. Just thought to point that out. you can see that even on this Star BM, with all the safeties it has, the half cock is still one of them. As you can see, even in half cock mode, it doesn't pull the trigger whatsoever. And I even go out of my way to put the safety on even when the hammer's all the way up. This gun is not double action. I'm just showing that you can still put the safety on even if the hammer's all the way up. So this modern version of the P210 is a little weird when it comes to the half cock mode, and I say half cock in quotations. As you can see, when I pull the trigger for half cock to demonstrate if it's still safe or not, it goes off. Now I don't know if it would fire the handgun. I doubt it, because it doesn't have that much travel with the hammer. But I don't know, I mean, anything can happen. Alright, so bolt actions. For bolt actions, I kind of learned an interesting way of decocking them from another YouTuber. I don't remember his name, unfortunately, or his YouTube channel, but I'm sure someone will come across it or remember it. Anyways, you would essentially pull the trigger and hold the trigger while closing the bolt, and that would decock it. There's also a second way on decocking bolt actions. I don't know if it really works well with the Krag, but it does work better with the Mosins that I have. And essentially, you just have the bolt at like a half point and then pull the trigger and it would lock the bolt. I don't know if that's seen as decocking. I just kind of came across that on my own, and maybe someone can shed some light on that. Alright, so here's the final rifle for this video. This is the Mini Mosin, and this is a cricket rifle, if I'm not mistaken. It's a single shot, and in order to cock it, I should say, you have to pull the rear of the bolt back, and that's it. Very simple. So I don't recommend dry firing any .22 firearm. So for this, I will be holding it, the rear, with my other hand so that it doesn't slam into nothing.